Hello and welcome to Miniature Adventures. I'm Big Lee, and today I want to talk about thinking time. There's no such thing as doing nothing. Do you remember when you were a kid and you could spend hours doing nothing? If you're anything like me, such blissful inactivity is a very rare occurrence, and as grown-ups we never get to the end of our to-do lists and rarely get to just sit and let our minds wander. Indeed, it's considered a bad thing. It's described as a Walter Mitty trait that sensible adults should avoid at all costs. But maybe giving our brains an hour off is a good thing and helps make us more productive in the long run. So before I continue, obviously it's hotter than hell up here at the moment. I'm videoing this in the middle of the week, and every window's open, so if you hear outside noises, sorry, it's got to happen. I couldn't have the windows shut up here. I would melt, literally. So yeah, apologies if there's any random dog barking and toots of horns and police sirens and all the other noises. Police helicopter always seems to want to do donuts over my house. So yeah, in case that happens, please ignore it. So why am I doing this video? Simply put, I've had several periods of enforced idleness thrust upon me recently, and it's turned out not to be a bad exercise. Waiting to pick someone up from an appointment, for instance, driving from A to B in silence, sitting on a bench too damn hot to contemplate reading. And I'm usually doing something when I'm idle, but several times lately I've either not had access to my phone or just waiting and therefore been doing nothing. You know, in the car, for instance, you know, the podcast's finished. I don't want to put the radio on because I can't stand the adverts. So I just spent a little bit of time thinking. And while I did nothing, I ended up contemplating the rather zen qualities of idleness and letting the mind wander. Now, of course, the reality is we're never really doing nothing. Even when we were kids, doing nothing wasn't as vacant as it sounds. Letting the mind wander is a remarkably useful way to solve problems. The fact is, the mind is never off, even when we're asleep. And letting our minds wander is another way of giving our organic computer some processing time. I found myself thinking about all sorts of things, and while I wasn't conscious of working out problems, I found I had a much clearer picture of solutions that I needed afterwards. Everything from DIY projects, which I hate, to new ideas for wargaming projects, which of course I love. You know, I hadn't got set out with an agenda, but I'd unconsciously ticked off a few things from my to-do list. And of course, when we let our minds wander, we're entering a much more reflective space. It's creative, it's spontaneous, and it isn't really linked to what you're actually doing, but by the mental state that you fall into. In effect, it's very akin to meditation, and it's exactly the same process you go through, I find anyway. When I'm painting, I tend to fall into a zone while I'm painting. I can concentrate on the radio or a podcast, or I can just sit and think about things and let my mind wander while I paint. You know, we live in a very busy, noisy world with lots of distractions, and when we aren't rushing from one task to another, we're usually checking our phones, scrolling through news feeds, and those moments when we actually have nothing to do have become rarer and rarer. I rather like creative mind wandering because it is the antithesis of mindfulness, which I've always thought is a load of rubbish. Problem, stresses, tasks don't go away by focusing on them, but by not focusing on them, that may just reveal a solution. The benefit of letting your mind wander is it allows your brain a little bit of introspection, a degree of time to ruminate on a problem, but as I say, not always consciously. It's possible to achieve this state while painting miniatures, which is, you know, what I've said before, which is why I think our hobby should be prescribed on the NHS, as simple as that. It's a very short video really today, just thinking out loud really about the benefits of doing nothing, and actually achieving quite a lot in that time. I mean, I'd love to hear from you. What do you think? Do you have moments in your day when, for one reason or another, you don't have access to your phone or the usual distractions, and you literally get a chance to let your mind wander? You know, or are you always still trap focused all the time? And you know, and for people in either camp, I'd love to hear what you think the benefits are. But particularly if you are like me, like to let your mind wander occasionally, on the rare occasion that you get the time. So please join in the conversation in the comments below and let me know what you think. And if you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe and share, and click the bell notification icon to keep up to date with my videos as I put them out. So until next week, stay safe, keep gaming, and of course, keep rolling high.